I don't think you've ever known a woman like me.
Hey guys, it is Tristan with Nerdette's NewsStand, and this week we finally got the Wonder Woman 750, the special that we've been waiting for, was going to kick off the new timeline and tell us a little bit more. Well, I do want to talk timeline, but unfortunately there wasn't a whole lot. We kept getting hints that maybe there would be something about 5G in there, and we would learn about the new timeline moving forward, and there really wasn't a whole lot of substance. Not only that, but the story was by Scott Snyder, and I love Scott Snyder, don't get me wrong. His Batman stuff is phenomenal. I mean, his recent stuff hasn't been as good, but his Drowned Earth was good. I'm not a fan of Undiscovered Country at all. Now, this fell flat. Unfortunately, I will tell you why, but that is the last story in this. There's 9 small stories in it. So, it was $10. If you get it on Cosmicology and you have unlimited, I think it came out to $8.49. You kind of get a little bit of a discount, but not much. The artwork is judged by story. You got to judge story by story. But what I mean by artwork is there was so many variants. And don't get me wrong, I really do love all of these variants. But some of them are store exclusives. Some of them are like J. Scott Campbell, you have to order from his website. So, yeah, I just go with the regular one, I guess. But there is some really, like that Alex Ross. Now, I love Alex Ross. Like, Alex Ross in my eyes can do no wrong. So, it's beautiful. But anyways, let's actually get into this because it might take me a little bit to get through. And I apologize if it does, but there's a lot to talk about. So, we do see a continuity story, right? We see the end of the Wild Hunt, which has been Steve Orlando's run on Wonder Woman, which hasn't been bad. Now, it hasn't been my favorite run. Like, I would say even old ones by Greg Rucka or Gail Simone were better, but we've also seen a lot worse. So I don't want to complain too much. My biggest thing with Steve Orlando is he doesn't get Silencer right for me. Now, I personally love Silencer. I think she is a great character. She's all family oriented, and he doesn't capture that to me. But we are seeing the end here, like the finale. We are seeing them all trapped in the lasso of truth. We are seeing them basically, Hera and between Hera and Barbara, we are getting like this Wonder Woman being pulled multiple ways. Well, the entire premise of this story, at the end of the day, is the fact that Wonder Woman is going her own way. Now, she's not going to serve, she's self-serving. That's the best word I can use for it. She is going to serve herself first before others. And I actually really like this. I don't think it's a selfish thing, because if you think about literal gods, they're self-serving. And then they have, lots of followers. But if you think about it in that sense, it's not a selfish thing. And for Diana to put herself first for once is not a bad thing, especially when we see her basically on the brim of, like, losing it. Cheetah has done so much wrong, and she still doesn't, I mean, obviously, we knew that Diana was not going to sacrifice Cheetah, but it's just the point that when you are at your lowest point, she still has that compassion and that humanity. That's one great thing about Wonder Woman. I forgot, actually, how much I loved Wonder Woman until I read this. It made me want to go back and check out some of my old runs, which I haven't done in a really long time. But like I said, that story was Steve Orlando, and I don't know this penciler. His name's Jesus. We're just gonna call him Jesus. There is quite a few stories, so if I get some of the names wrong, I apologize. But we are getting the Gail Simone story. Now, I would say this is my least favorite story in here. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Gail Simone did a fantastic Wonder Woman line. Not only that, but in the 75th anniversary one for Wonder Woman, in 2016, it was fantastic. This was just like, meh, okay. See, this little girl here, and I didn't realize it until I actually looked it up. She always reminds me of Moon Girl. And she's only been in the 75th anniversary, what was it, 600? And I don't like her. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't like her because she's a little kid, but, yeah, she's just not that. This story was just like, stereotypes and racism. Honestly, that's what it was. Like, Gail, I know you're into that virtue signaling part of your career. I get it. Your better days are behind you. But can you not be so obvious about it? Like, I guess. We know you can write. It's just you have to choose to. And I thought this was a lesbian couple until I realized that one was a girl. So at least, I gotta give her that. Like, at least she made one of them kind of normal. I don't know. It just fell very flat to me. The whole story premise is that we are all human. Like, that's literally it. Like, Diana breaks down because one of the megalodons that surrounded the island did die and she was friends with them. And Diana's sad. And she comforts her. Moon Girl. I mean, what is her? Star Blossom. Comforts her. Yeah, I get it. Diana is allowed to be sad. But that's the whole premise. The whole thing is we are human. Like, yeah, this was the worst one in the story. I will say that. There is one that I was kind of like, meh, about, also by Vita Ayla, but we'll get there. Oh, wait, we are there. I'm totally looking on it I'm recording on one phone and looking on my Cosmicology on my old phone. So, yeah, it's kind of hard. So, this is the interrogation. And don't get me wrong, it irritated me right away. And the thing is, this isn't Vita Ayla, this is Mariko Tamaki. Well, same thing, right? Yeah, Mariko Tamaki, I have never been a fan of her writing. So, we get like a pissed off Wonder Woman, and then I was like, why is she so mad? Like, why is she being so insufferable? Well, it's come to find out that the person that she is actually in the interrogation with is Ares. And we kind of get like, it's a gotcha. It's like, oh, you thought you were in control of this, but I'm actually in control of this. And then they cage him. Like, okay, really good. Really original. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad. It wasn't good either. It just really wasn't. Okay, so our next story is my favorite. I really do. And I am partial to Greg Rucka, don't get me wrong. But I really like this story, except for it's really weird, like, in this first panel we're getting here, that's a dude dressed as Wonder Woman. Just saying, just gotta point it out, that's a boy. Yeah, okay. Anyways, so we get Cersei. And I love Cersei. I do. But this version, and I love it so much. Does anybody else see Cyndi Lauper? Like, that's Cyndi fucking Lauper. But basically what she wants to do is kind of fix Barbara. We're going back to Cheetah. She wants to use Cersei and her magic to actually, get the Barbara she knows and not the Cheetah she knows. The difference between that. She wants the human version back. She feels that guilt still, and she wants it back. So, we get kind of a storyline here, and they're basically like, Cheetah's, not into it. Not into it at all. And, she has to say her name, basically, for it to work, and she doesn't. And then we get Cersei being, like, super nice about it. Like, nobody wants to kick someone while they're down. Well, sometimes you would have, honey. But even so, like, I don't know. This story worked in a different way. This story worked to more of an appeal, and it had nothing to do with the fact that I do like Greg Rucka as a writer, and even though he writes everybody as lesbians, I actually don't mind him at all. I think the reason why it worked is because we see the compassion and humanity within not only Wonder Woman, which we see in a lot. Like, that's one of her tropes, That's one of her key characteristics. We see the compassion within Cersei, and I like that. And we still have a bad guy. We still have the evil we're fighting against. But it also shows that Wonder Woman won't give up. Like, she refuses to back down, and I really did enjoy this story. I think it was called Never Change. The art was by, what's it say here, Nicola Scott. Oh my god, I didn't even realize that. No wonder it was so good. Wow, so this next one, it was there. Like, that's really sad to say. It was just there. Like, it was okay. So it was Cami Garcia, and it was Phil Hessler did the pencils. So it was just a story, a typical Wonder Woman men bad story. And I'm not saying that like in a political sense. I'm saying that in like, that's how Wonder Woman is. Like that came along before this culture war stuff came. They talk about how, you know, this is what a man was, but yet Wonder Woman dreams and still wants to go off, still wants to actually leave paradise, and actually kind of go through things. Well, of course, nobody wants her to do that, and we get this story about how did you know you were the Oracle and stuff like that, and the bird keeps coming back, like, spectacular, I guess. Then we see a plane go down. This is a story that's been told before and before, and time again. There was nothing special about it, Cami. Like, I can't say I've read a couple things that you've done, but I can't say that you need to keep working on your craft. Like, you can't just take somebody's cookie cutter story, change the words a little bit, and call it your own. It's really not your own. So we have another one. Now this, not kidding. Wow, as I go through this, I realize how much worse and worse this was. So this was horrible. This was horrible. And when I say horrible, I mean you're going to see some drag queens that call themselves Diana. You're going to see some drag queens that call themselves Diana's mom. I couldn't read Martian Manhunter because of Riley Rossmo's art. It's absolutely horrendous. It is so bad. And it's not even just that. The script for this is bad too. Like, this one panel, this guy with this like C-shaped head is like, hey, bub, they need you on Chick Island. Like, what? Something about a Hydra. What? Chick Island. I guess so. I guess some guy could say that. But I just feel like I should keep talking so I can show you how bad this art is. It is horrendous. And the entire time she's on this island fighting this Hydra, her mother just keeps talking to her and keeps talking to her, asking her questions like, did you meet... Okay, so there is this one panel. I need to find it while I'm talking here. Okay, so I found it. Took me a second. It says, have you considered a heartmate yet? I would very much like to see you with a fine, strong woman. Or man. I won't judge. Like, what? I just was really turned off by this story. Don't get me wrong. It was like a cute mother and daughter story. She just keeps asking her questions. The only reason she even brought the Hydra out was so she could see her daughter again. Kind of pisses Diana off and she leaves. And then she's like, I did some thinking. I do think I need you. Like, yeah, super heartwarming. That art, though! That is not Diana. That's a boy in a wig. Ew, I hate it so much. Now, going from bad to fucking fantastic is this story. Okay, so do you remember Bombshells? They were so good. I absolutely loved Bombshells, and what's weird about it is it was super, like, gay. Like, it was kind of SJW, but the thing is, I loved it. I loved the art style. I actually really want to review them now that I reread this. So we've got a beautiful Batwoman. Absolutely fantastic. So we're going to get kind of almost a summary of what happened in Bombshells. It's really nothing new. So we've got this, we've got Diana, of course. And then we've got Steve Trevor. I love the way this is worded. Like, it's beautiful. If you don't read any other story in this, this is the one to read. So if you remember in Bombshells, obviously it wasn't canon, but like Mara and Wonder Woman kind of like were a thing. Yeah, it's weird, right? I still can't wrap my head around it. But we kind of get a story about them. And see, here's the thing. This art is so beautiful. I love the different take. So then we get the summary of basically what happened to Supergirl, the death of Stargirl, the fact that Diana will always be there for her, stuff like that. And then we get the Wonder Girls, which I love too. It's got Cassie and it's got Donna Troy. I like them too. So this picture to me is so fucking pretty. I love everything about it. I love the Bombshells. And you know what? Let me know in the comment section below if you are interested in me reviewing those. I just think they are a kick-ass, beautifully done as far as art goes, girl storyline. So, actually, like, not forced female storyline, like, just good in general. So, here's another story, and we get to Vida Ayla, finally. Now, this is... Okay, so I was reading this, and I was like, okay, so why is this so familiar? Why do I feel like I've read this Silver Swan story before? It's because I have. This is another one, just like the Cami Garcia one, where they basically take a longer story, shorten it up, and put their name on it. There is nothing new when it comes to Silver Swan on here. Yeah, she was injured. Diana saved her. She uses these nanites to make her thing. She's mad at Diana because she saved her and she has to use these nanites or she's basically Oracle. She's paralyzed. And then, yep, she feels bad about hurting innocent people, so she doesn't do it. And then she realizes that she's wrong. And then she goes home and she obviously isn't using the nanites anymore because we see her in her wheelchair. This story, well, then Diana comes and visits her too. But this story has been done before, and I tried to look it up. If you know, let me know in the comment section below, because I cannot remember, and I remember it being a man writer. But I know when I read this, I was like, I have read this before. This is exactly the same, and I forget who it was. I really do, but I know it's very similar to a storyline we've seen before. So, this is where we are going to get into the new timeline that DC is talking about. Now, this is the Scott Snyder story. And for as big of a fan of Scott Snyder I am, this ain't it, Chief. Like, this was a very generic introduction to 5G. So it's called A Brave New World. Brian Hitch does the penciling, which was okay. Like, I don't mind Brian Hitch. He's not my favorite, but he's pretty good. So we basically get our timeline opening up here right before World War II, 1939. We've got Roosevelt in office. There's basically a bunch of threats on his life. They're trying to convince him not to go out there, and he's like, you know, I have to show everyone that I'm super, super brave, and I am not going to back down to these terrorists. And I get that. I really do. So he goes out there, and of course there is an attack on his life. And we get to see the introduction of Wonder Woman. And she saves him. She flies away. She gets the bad guy. And that's it. Like, if you're going to market this book like the introduction of the DC storyline. So, Wonder Woman came first. That's what they're saying. And, which is fine. I honestly thought they'd go with JSA first, but that's fine. I don't even care. I love Wonder Woman. I have no problem with her going first. The problem I have was you marketed this like we were going to be super excited. And I saw Scott Snyder was doing it. I'm like, yes, this is going to be a great introduction to the 5G storyline. No, it was very cookie cutter. Like, now, the only good part was like she inspired all these people. And then we see Green Lantern. Here's the thing that I remember from Doomsday Clock, which kind of makes me wonder if they kind of clashed. So the whole inspiration, the whole last issue of Doomsday Clock, I apologize, spoilers, all of that, was that Superman was the inspiration for all of the different multiverses. All of the different heroes wouldn't exist if Superman didn't exist. Now we are seeing at the end of this that Wonder Woman is the inspiration for, you know, Earth right now. For what? Like, how? It can't be both. You've got to pick one or the other. And I have no problem with either one of them starting the timeline. But don't act like one day that Superman is the inspiration for everything. But now we see literally Diana inspiring Green Lantern, Alan Scott. So I don't know. So this is I'm assuming supposed to be Alan Scott to start the JSA and stuff like that. But then again, I could be wrong. I don't know. I would say this as far as recommending this comic for the artwork alone, I would say yes. But there was a lot of disappointment in this. Like, it wasn't as good as it could have been had you gotten some, like, it made sense for Greg Rucka and Gail Simone to be on it. They had massive runs when it came to Wonder Woman. But take off Vita Ayla, Cami Garcia, Mariko Tamaki. Change those with somebody. Get somebody that can actually write. And this could have been really good. I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought about this. I apologize this went so long, but it was a big issue. I will have another video up later today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my Subscribestar and Patreons. You guys literally make this channel possible. Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Chris C, Dave Ross, David L, Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Sanjuro, Jeremy Burtz, Joe Bustify, Gato Round, Magical Exotic Diamonds, Mighty Pauls, Mike Buckner, Robert, Steve Glasker, Timothy French, Ala's Matt Films, Alexander Trapp, Way Else One, and Troy Reiser. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like on the way out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.